about 10 years ago, I just wasn't feeling well. And long story short, I kept going to doctors. I was seeing colleagues. No, everyone was like, "Oh, you're just working too hard. You're just stressed. You're anxious. You're
You're just
perimenopausal."
a woman.
I'm just a woman. They might have, you know what? I would have had more respect if they would have just said that to my
But yeah, I'm
face.
being serious when I
Yeah,
say
no, I
that. Yeah.
know. They should have just said that. But anyway, and I spent a year trying to get someone to believe me. And then I finally cried to an internist acquaintance of mine. And I said, please order me an MRI because you can't order one. People always ask me that. Why don't you just order an MRI? Because you can't. We weren't allowed. My insurance at least wouldn't allow me to
Yeah.
because, they like a ordering provider, as they call it, as you know. And so I begged, and every time I asked a colleague or another specialist that I had seen to order it, they would give me reasons why they wouldn't. So I cried to an internist, and she said, that's a famous line that I've said before, but like when a neurologist asks you to order a brain MRI, you order a brain MRI. So she did, and I came out of that machine, and they sent me right to the ER, of course, and then the rest is sort of history, as I think most people know the story. But what I realized was like, wow, like, and if it wasn't for that year, like I would probably not be like still dealing with it.
Right.
But that year led that tumor to sort of grow, and it went into the brain tissue and sort of got stuck there and is now like along the meninges. And I think if someone would have listened to me early on, I mean, obviously I can never prove this because I don't really know, but
Well, you can't prove it, but it grows. So if it was
grows.
found
It grew.
earlier,
It was 7
then it would have been
centimeters.
smaller.
I mean, I should show you the pictures of my initial MRI.
Yeah.
The left side of my brain was on my right because of this tumor and all the edema around it. And so, it's called mass effect. It pushed everything over, and it was pushing downward, which is actually very dangerous. So, which is why I was not feeling well. And in retrospect, and even after all this happened, a lot of my neurology colleagues at the hospital were saying, "Wow, you must have like incredible neurons," because I didn't have seizures. Although in retrospect, I think I was having focal seizures. I didn't recognize them as such because I didn't want to believe it, I guess. But I didn't have any generalized tonic-clonic for sure, and I had a normal exam.
Yeah.
But if you looked at my MRI, you would say, "There's no way your exam was normal," but it was. I mean, that part I really do agree with. I had a normal exam, which is why no one wanted to order the MRI. So anyway, I really feel like if someone would have listened to me early on, and I thought to myself, like, wow, I will never, if I can control it, I will never allow this to happen to another person.